Welcome to From Concept to Creation, this YouTube mini-series by Dr. Kimberly Ellison. I'm excited that you have joined me on today. This is part 3. We're going to talk about content development. This is going to be an amazing journey, so I want us to jump right in because we have covered content discovery, content design, and now we're moving into content development. Listen, creatives, this is going to be such an amazing movement and an amazing level up for your particular concepts and for the content that you have laying around in your journals, the content that you have in your mind. Remember, from session 1, we talked about content being anything that is written or cognitive. And so we're going to put it in a form in which those who your end user or your actual clients would love it, would need it, and see high value for what you have to offer. So we're going to continue with this mini series here with content development. This will be part 3, content development this week, where you will be able to take that content and turn it into profitable and something purposeful for your clients. All right, we are rocking and rolling from concept to creation. This is our part 3 series, and we are ready to turn this content into purposeful and profitable programs, master classes, masterminds, incubators, training, curriculum. If you want to take this to the next level or take your concept to the next level, you are in the right place. So we're on part 3. Hopefully you're joining us here and you've actually taken a look at part 1, which is concept discovery, and then part 2, which is content design, and now we're in part 3, which is content development. So we're going to go ahead and get started so we can move you through. When you think about content, oh gosh, y'all started at the end. Okay. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to rock and roll with our part 3 of our mini series From Concept to Creation with Dr. Kimberly Ellison. I'm so excited that we're here at part 3. The thing that you want to take a look at part 3 is we've gone through, when you take a look, content discovery, we've gone through content design, and now we're at content development. This is where you start to actually give your concept and your content life. This is where you begin to create your actual curriculum and how it is you're going to deliver your messaging to your client. In content discovery, you want to make sure you go back into my YouTube channel and take a look at that session as we talked about how do you create the value proposition and taking a look at what is it that your audience, the problem that your audience is you're trying to solve for your audience. So that's number 1, understanding the problem that you're trying to solve for your audience, and then also taking a look at the value proposition. And in that value proposition, you find that in what it is that you're going to deliver in your particular objectives. As it relates to content design, your problem statement or your problem and the issue that you're trying to solve actually creates your objectives. And your objectives are the end result or the takeaways or what your audience should expect as a result of your content. And so when you think about that, you want to create the value proposition from the problem. So what is it that your audience wants? Do they want something that's informational, knowledgeable? Do they want service? What is it? Do they want something consistent? Do they want something expeditiously, like they want it fast, quick, in a hurry? What is it that you're trying to prove and to them that you can help them solve? Okay. And so with that, you take the content design because now you have your objectives. Here is what I can offer you. Here is what you will walk away with as a result of connecting with me and utilizing my content. Now, what I'm going to help you do, because this is one of the most challenging pieces that people miss out on as it relates to development. When you think about content development from an academic perspective, it's all about the learner. Everything that we're doing is about your audience. It's about the individuals who are on the other end of the curriculum or on the other end of your concept. When you think about content development, it's one of the most important parts of the learning process, because what it does, it ensures that your concept, now your content and what you're doing is the best designed to help your audience or help those individuals be successful in learning the material that you have and the takeaways from your retreat, and actually transferring that knowledge, transferring that skill so that they can apply it. And so it's something that you need to do so that they can actually have continued skill, continued development, or you're going to advance them. And so in that, this is the most critical part of the learning process, because you're thinking about the type of audience that you have and how you want to give them the end objective where they can actually utilize it, where they can transfer. That knowledge will transfer, the learning will transfer, and then also will they walk away different, and will they walk away seeing the value? Okay, so this content development piece and phase of designing your actual content and courses is very, very, very critical. So I want you to be clear on what it is. It's a part of the learning process. This is how you ensure that your content or your curriculum, whatever it is that you are designing, your book, your journal, this is how you are actually ensuring that your audience knows it's helpful, it's valuable, and again, it's transformative. We're going to start with the content outline. How do you organize your content? Because we talked about the discovering, understanding the problem, discovering the value proposition, now creating your objectives, which are the outcomes, of what your audience will receive. Now, once you've identified all of that, you have to now organize your content. This is developing the content so that you can ensure that your audience walks away with the outcome by design. How do you do that? You organize your content based on your objectives. And that is, objectives are your outcomes. What is it that they're going to learn? What is it that they're going to receive? What is it that you're trying to change or accomplish? What is it that they're going to walk away with that's going to bring value? And that is a part of your objectives that when they leave. And so you organize those because you've already taken part 1 and part 2. And then you review and identify the categories. And so the categories are your outcomes. Remember, when you talk about value proposition, you're thinking about the categories of knowledge, information. Is it economics? What is it? Is it financial? Like, what are the categories in which your actual content falls into that's going to give your audience the outcome that they're looking for? Then you create the outline using your objectives. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. And when you do take a look at this part, you're going to be a little bit like, oh, wow, I didn't know it goes that deep. Yes, if you are taking part in curriculum or content, or you're doing a program, a mastermind, a retreat, an incubator, if you're doing online coaching programs, if you're doing consults, and you have not yet created objectives and outlined your content so that it produces those objectives, then we have a problem, because that means you created the content with the most important people disconnected, which is your audience and those people who you actually are trying to reach. You missed them. You didn't create it with them in mind. And so let's talk about what does that look like when you're talking about your objectives and outlining it. So when you think about it, we're going to take it piece by piece and section by section. So we're going to take your number 1 objective. And you would write the objective, which is it should be action oriented. Remember, it is by the time they leave this class, they will have learned 2 methods to change, how they put on their tennis shoes. Or by the time they leave this course, they will better understand how to apply for a nonprofit or how to apply for an LLC. By the time students will, learners will, participants will be able to do what? They will know how to meditate using music during their quiet time. Whatever it is, and I'm telling you, this is for creatives. So this type of content outline or this concept of creation course, it is for everyone who is a creative that wants to serve a purpose through content to their audience. And so your objectives should be action oriented. I'm going to give you an example here in a minute. Then you want to provide your main topic. Your main topic should drive the objective. So it is the thing that you're saying you're going to accomplish. That's your main topic as you're outlining it. So you have your objective, and now you're creating your main topic. What is it that you are truly going to talk about? What is the main point that's going to actually give them the outcome, the objective that you're trying to accomplish? What is your main topic and point of discussion? right? Now, then with that main topic, you know that you already have an objective, which is the outcome. So your main topic is what your audience will read. This is what they will see. This is what you will share. This is what you will put in marketing collateral, the main topic. And then your supporting content as you're building your curriculum would be that learning piece that you're actually giving them that's going to help get the outcome. So from your main topic, what is your supporting content? What are those topics of discussion that will actually help them accomplish the outcome? So it's those supporting content actually breaks down the main topic. So similar to subtopics, right? And then you put in the learning points, the activity, or the transfer. So each supporting content, you should have a type of learning point. That means you talk about it, and then now you actually show them, or you give them an example as it relates to the content that you're going to do. So for example, take a look here. One thing you all will be able to do is identify and set up program objectives and outcomes. That is my objective for this particular course, right? One of the objectives for this section is to help you identify program objectives and outcomes. How do you do that? So my main topic would be outcomes by design. So that's what I would put. By the time you all finish this particular course, you should be able to identify how to set up program objectives and outcomes. So my main topic now on my content would be outcomes by design. What we're talking about is, what problem are you trying to solve? That's going to help you identify your program objectives and outcomes. Value proposition, all right? That's supporting content, okay? Remember, you have to have your main topic and supporting content. And then, how do I write good objectives? So my main topic is outcomes by design. The supporting topics that I'm talking about, the supporting content now says, this is how you're going to get this objective. This is how you're going to learn how to identify and set up program objectives and outcomes by me taking you through content that helps you identify what problem you're trying to solve, and then determining your value proposition, and then teaching you how to write good objectives. I hope you all are following me here, because this is valuable, so valuable to you developing your content. Once you've identified what supporting details, what supporting content that actually is going to help you get the objective, the outcome, you then now have to include learning points, the activities, and the transfer of learning, meaning from the discussion, from the content, you've now took it a little further and you thought about, how is it now can I get what I just taught and just discussed with them to better understand it? How do I get them now to apply it? How do I get them now to learn, transfer the learning? And this is be through activity. It could be through further discussion. It could be them actually applying it in the session, or anything that you're doing in your book. You could be asking questions, reflection, and you want to make sure. So you want to get them to thinking, you want to get them to reflecting, and then you want to get the results. All right. So the learning points that I have here in my example to drive my actual main point would be, we're going to create a value proposition. And so in this, once I've taught you all here, my activity would be, now let's create a value proposition. And that's where I would take you through this process in part 2, where we talk about creating the objectives based on your value proposition. And so we would create that. And then we would actually create objectives, and we would use the sample objective template. So now what I have here is, this outline is for you. As you are creating, taking your concept and you're creating content around it, this is exactly what you would do to actually build out and develop your content. This helps you as a content creator to establish methodically, establish how your content flows, and to ensure that the people will walk away with the outcomes that you told them up front. This is how they begin to learn in such a way, it makes it so easy for you. Because now you have this content outline that's so structured, you know exactly what it is that you're going to discuss. You know what you're going to write about. You know what your blogs are going to be about. You know what high points to hit in your book. You know what to talk about at your retreat. You know how to do your agenda. You know how to set up your coaching programs, your coaching discussions, all of these things. If you're doing counseling, this content is for everybody. Speakers, if you are actually going to a session and you're speaking, that speaking is content that you can now turn into something tangible and make it profitable and purposeful for your audience. Y'all, this is good stuff. I'm so excited. So now that you've taken on what this looks like, you now give examples. And so what I put here is I give content examples of what outcomes by design would be. And so I would use concept to creation, meaning several things that I've created that would take the content and I've developed it. Stacia Pierce, that's a website. And so what I did, I would show them in the session. I love Stacia Pierce. She's an amazing content creator. She does products. She has conferences. And so what I do, I would show them just kind of how she outlines her products. So you want to give examples, because when you think about developing content, you want to provide visuals. You want to provide where it's auditory, kinesthetic. Think about that, where you have learners in your courses or learners or readers. How is it that you're going to bring out the content for them? So you would give examples. All right. So hopefully you understand this is creating the content from a way it is developed properly. And you do that by creating your content outline. But remember, you have to go back and watch parts 1 and parts 2 before you can get here. So what do we do, Dr. Kimberly? Well, in this concept of creation course, it's a 2-day course, and you have like a 50 to 60 page work book, and it's an accountability partner that helps you create your concept and create your content, and you actually take all of these steps in this course. And what happens, this is one of the pages, and you would actually take the process that I just showed you, and you would this process here, you would take this process of the objective, the main topic, the supporting content, write that out, the learning activity or point, what does that look like, and then find some examples. So with that, here is what you would do. So your overall title, okay, which would be what objective are you trying to accomplish? And then here is your main topic, and then you want to put your supporting content, and then you want to put the learning that they would actually transfer an activity. Same here, you put the objective, okay? What is it? What are one of the other objectives? And then you would put the content. And as you see, I've changed them around. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. So here is the deal. As you build out your outline, you may not have 2 or 3 learning content points, or you may not have, you have 3 here at the first one, the next one you may have 2. And then the next one, you may just have main points. So it's totally up to how you are designing and developing your content, but this gives you an outline to start creating it. All right, and so I would encourage you to take a picture of it, or you can even reach out to me and we can get you one of these particular outline documents. And so we do have this in our course. It is a part of the actual 2-day curriculum, but this is an outline, and you can write this down, put it on scratch paper. I mean, literally, you have what it takes to start to develop your content. Now, when you structure your content, I always talk about structuring it in a way where your audience will begin to understand, they know, and they do. All right? So you want them to understand something, you want them to know something, and then you want them to do it. So understanding is the concept, the know is pretty much the practical, and the do is the application. Okay, so you want them to have the concept, the practicality of it, and then the doing, which is the application of it. That's how you structure your content. Or you can do, I want to introduce it, I want to inform them, and then I want them to implement it. So as you are building out your objectives and you're building out your topics, and then you're actually doing the learning activity or the learning transfer, you're saying, I want them from an objective standpoint, outcomes, I want them to understand, to know something, and then to do something. Very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Or you want to introduce a topic, you want to introduce a statement, you want to introduce your book, you want to introduce and then inform them, and then you want them to implement. Here is where the value proposition stands, is in the implementation, in the doing. All right. And then there's also practice, practice, practice. I always say you want your audience to practice, especially when you're talking about content, whether it's a podcast and you're just dropping nuggets, you still want them to walk away with something valuable. I always want to walk away with something that I can apply to my life, or I can share with someone and they can apply to their life. And so you want to make sure there's practice, practice, practice. And then there's a learning transfer. The learning transfer means I walked away clear on what I am to do, what I am to know, have a better understanding of, and the learning transfer, and I'm able to apply it in my own life, which means I want you all to be able to identify objectives, know what your problem is, understand your value proposition, and then to properly outline. Listen, I know this is not easy. Although people make it look easy, oftentimes there are a lot of pieces missing, and people walk away half-baked, or they walk away wanting, like, I don't know, unclear. And so I want you all to be very clear about what it is that you are to do when you're writing this curriculum or taking this content and developing it. Other things I want to share with you as you structure your content: examples. Examples show relevance. So you want to make sure you give examples. Plenty of examples. Go find, look for them, read about them. If you have examples you've created, you want to make sure you show examples. Also, quotes. Quotes show engagement. That means this topic is something you're going to expound on, is something that you're going to add to the body of knowledge, but you show quotes to kind of give that engagement. Also, image, because some people are visual, so you want to use a lot of pictures, images of pictures, or visuals that you can use, or you can actually go do screenshots, or those type of things. And then you can add the activities for technology, meaning if you want them to do a poll, or if you want them to do a text on their phone, a selfie, whatever the case may be, you want to utilize the technology if you can, and also activities. So when you talk about doing content development, it's more so where you're actually putting the pieces of the puzzle together. This is where the structure comes in on how you're delivering your message to your audience, what it is that they're going to read in your content, how you're going to deliver that messaging, what it is that you want them to walk away with clearly. Most importantly is how are you going to deliver that outcome? Because when you're developing your content, you're structuring it in a way that your audience, you're actually giving them the outcome as you're actually developing the content. So this particular part of concept of creation is where you deal with the outcomes, but you're doing it by design. Well, this does conclude our mini-series for part 3 from concept to creation. I told you that it would be amazing content that you can take and you can begin to work toward developing something amazing that your audience will want, they will love, they will need, and they will ask for more. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you as a part of this mini YouTube series so that you can start to create content. When I tell you, the ladies and gentlemen who are taking part in this mini-series, you all are about to see a difference in how you show up and how you actually take your content to the next level. What I want to share with you is this is an amazing program, and what I want to extend to you is that to look for programs like this in the future from me as it relates to being certified in developing content and producing it in a way that gives you profitable and purposeful results. So I am going to just share a little bit about our program on another part of our series, which will be where I'll come in and just ask you how you're doing. So with that, I hope that you have enjoyed part 3 of our mini series from concept to creation for creatives. I'm Dr. Kimberly Ellison. I'm so excited that you decided to take this journey with me. But for now, creatives, I want you to go and create.